Hi, my name is Stephen Hopper. This presentation is the final presentation for Business 343 at Liberty University, and this is the spring semester of 2016. You're probably looking at the first slide of the presentation. It's just the title slide. You can go ahead and forward one to the first slide with content. We're going to go ahead and get this thing started. Human resources is a necessary part of business in today's world. It is designed to take care of enforcing rules and regulations within the organization, as well as making sure that no laws are being broken within the organization. The Human Resources Department has not really been around for very long. Actually, the Human Resources Department as we know it was created back in the early part of the 20th century after many decades of unfair labor practices in the United States. Human resource representatives are there to enforce the rules of the organization. When given that task, there are often cases where the Human Resource Director will have to make decisions that will be very difficult to make. Human Resources is designed to protect the organization and its employees, but often the employees do not see it that way. Employees can sometimes view the HR department as a judge, jury, and executioner, as it were. No matter what the employees view, the HR director has the responsibility to make sure that the company's policies are being upheld by every employee. You can go ahead and forward to the next slide. In the case from Chapter 9 of the textbook, we learned that a man named John Arnett was upset because the company he works for was refusing to pay him for a holiday. The holiday in question is Labor Day. Now, we all know that Labor Day always falls on a Monday, and John's schedule was Tuesday through Friday. So he wasn't working Monday anyway. His schedule was Tuesday through Friday, and they were 10-hour shifts. So he was only working 4 days of the week. The policy was written so that the employees who did not work Monday would be able to observe the holiday on Tuesday. Well, John took Tuesday off as a paid holiday, but decided last minute to take a personal day on Wednesday. So John called in at 11 p.m. on Tuesday night to his supervisor to let him know he was taking a personal day the following day, Wednesday. So the policy does not allow for a personal day to be taken in conjunction with a holiday without prior approval. Many organizations have policies like this because weeks with a holiday thrown in are actually busier than weeks without holidays. For instance, the workload does not decrease on a week of a holiday. Actually, the workload remains exactly the same, but now there are fewer days to get that work accomplished in. The job of the Human Resource Director would be to present the reasoning why John is not entitled to his holiday pay and why his holiday pay would be withheld from him is because the policy of the organization that they put in place. You can go ahead and move on to the next slide. In a case like this, the Human Resource Director has to enforce the policy that the organization has put in place. Employees are required to read and then sign an employee handbook that outlines all the policies for their particular company. Since the employees are required to read the company's policies, they are held responsible when they do not adhere to them. Since the company's policies indicate that they cannot take a personal day in conjunction with a holiday, the Human Resources Director will be forced to uphold the ruling to withhold the holiday pay for John. Precedent will be very important in this case. Allowing him to receive pay for the holiday even though he took a personal day in conjunction will not be a precedent that the organization will want to set. Moving on to the next slide, there are several qualities that a person must have to become a successful Human Resource Director. I'll give you a minute to forward to the next slide. Organizational skills are very important for a Human Resource Director. Often, human resource departments are small in scale compared to organizations as a whole. The workload can be large, and having great organizational skills will be necessary. Along those lines, multitasking will also be a much needed skill as a Human Resource Director. Having the skills to listen, comprehend, and effectively communicate the policies are important. One of the harder skills that will be required of an effective Human Resource Director is dealing with the gray area. The gray area can be a difficult place for a human resource director. Having the skills to determine truth from fiction and right from wrong will be critical. Effective communication is also an important trait for a successful human resource director. Being able to communicate effectively the policies of the company to the employees so that they understand will be required. Finally, the last trait that will be of great importance for a successful human resource director is the quality of ethics. Ethics are important in every part of an organization, but the human resource department is designed to enforce policies. They need to be able to follow them as well as be above reproach when it comes to following workplace policies themselves. Go ahead and move on to the next slide. We're going to talk about the differences between a personal day and a vacation day. Now, a personal day is defined as a paid or unpaid day of leave from work for reasons other than illness or vacation, taken at the employee's discretion. If John Arnett had requested a personal day in advance of the holiday, he may have been approved to take vacation day in conjunction with a holiday instead of the personal day. But since the personal day was considered unexcused, John should not be paid according to company policy. Next slide, please. It is always good practice to remind the employees of company policies from time to time. After an incident like this, in the case of John, it would be a good opportunity for the human resource director to send an email to the employee body to remind them of the policies without getting into detail regarding the specifics of this case. Next slide. The human resource director should not be viewed as negative by the employees. It is a good idea to make sure that the director keep a good rapport with the employees so that they feel that they can approach the human resource director if any issues should arise within the organization. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your time.